Good evening and thank you for joining us. The weekend saw hundreds of people from across the region make their way to Anemki-Waju, also known as Mount McKay, for Fort William First Nation's annual summer powwow. Jessica Clement reports.
Over 2,000 people gathered atop Anemki-Waju this weekend to honor Indigenous culture and to enjoy the drumming, dancing, singing, and food of Fort William First Nation's annual summer powwow. Along with the colorful regalia and music, the event also saw dozens of booths with local crafters, food vendors, and community organizations. Organizers say this year's powwow has attracted more dancers than usual, with over 300 registered dancers taking part. Woodland Dance Special winner Keenan Sandin said he was really looking forward to dancing in this weekend's powwow.
It's one of the few powwows that I like going around Ontario. I just like the community of how it's all organized and the amount of people that it's here and all the traditions and stuff and the people.
The powwow featured various dance specials, with the top prize of both the men's and women's special being $800. Desiree Pepompi from Whitefish Bay was the general women's special winner. She says participating in dance contests doesn't just require stamina and physical strength, but mental strength as well.
Most people pull through for that amount of songs is, where you resort to your mental strength. And my mental strength is my son, who is going to be 13 years old this year, and I miss him very much. He's away for the year, and that's why I come to dance.
Pepompi says this is her second time participating in the summer powwow atop Anemki-Waju, claiming the beauty and community were what brought her back. She adds that the dancing also allows her to pray for family members who weren't able to travel with her.
And a lot of my family who are struggling with drugs and addiction right now, and because of that, they're not in the circle. And sometimes the circle can feel lonely to me, but that's where my strength is and where my healing is.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The Friends of Chippewa Park kicked off its 2023 Summer in the Park concert series this afternoon with a performance by Tommy Milestone Horrocks.
It really doesn't matter at all when they've all had their quarrels and parties.
Each Sunday until Labor Day, Chippewa Park will have local bands and musicians performing on the outdoor stage behind the pavilion from 2 to 4 p.m. This summer's lineup features local favorites like the Southern Comfort Duo, Bert's Garage Band, and Rodney Brown. The concerts are free for everyone, and while there will be seating available, attendees are encouraged to bring their own chairs. Friends of Chippewa Park board member Linda LaFontaine says that she was very pleased with today's turnout, despite the show being the first of the year.
They're never quite sure how many people are going to come, because they're still just hearing about it, and even though they know every year we have Sunday in the parks, still people, especially the younger people, don't quite know what we're doing here. Yeah, we got a lot of different variety of entertainment, and of course ours start at 2 to 4, the music, so hopefully, everybody enjoys himself.
Next Sunday, Southern Comfort Duo will be taking the stage. A full performance schedule can be found online at chippewapark.ca. The basketball court in Shoal Lake 39 Independent First Nation has gotten a major facelift in honor of a local athlete who's doing her community proud.
3, 2, 1. Go.
Emily Mendaman is the first person from the community to earn a college basketball scholarship in the U.S. She was home to cut the ribbon on the refurbished court, the same court where she learned to play. Mendaman said she was shaking with excitement getting to play on the new surface.
I feel on top of the world right now. I feel like amazed, so grateful and blessed. I didn't think this was possible. I didn't think something like this was going to happen. And kind of seeing it is it's breathtaking. I don't know. I never thought something like this would be possible, but OLG made my dream come true. So.
Mendaman and the new court are sponsored by the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation. The court also features a mural by local artist Alicia Kijik. The CEO of the Heddle Marine says the federal government's $2.5 billion investment into renewing the Coast Guard's fleet of small vessels should be good news for their Thunder Bay shipbuilding and repair facility in the years ahead. Carl Langdon reports.
After purchasing local steel firm Fabmar, Heddle has been investing in their Thunder Bay operations and performed a series of repairs to their shipyard in Current River. Fabmar has spent the past year moving nearly all of their equipment from their former shop on Pacific Avenue to that shipyard, and the team is now prepared to take on more contracts but still face a few more challenges.
So there's a great team at Fabmar that have been doing a tremendous job, but the market for skilled trades right now, tradesmen and women, is very tight.
Even with added personnel specialized in structural steelwork, the nearly 120-year-old facility will still need major renovations before being able to work large vessel contracts. The good news is that the shipyard is already able to work on contracts for smaller vessels, including certain classes of Coast Guard icebreakers. And Padulo says that means more work is just off the horizon.
You saw a few years ago that we signed an agreement with C-SPAN to help them build a polar icebreaker. All of that work, if it does come to us, which I hope it does because of the agreement we have with C-SPAN, would be done out of that Thunder Bay facility.
And with other shipyards across the country facing significant delays building new vessels, older vessels are being forced to stay out to sea for much longer.
And so what the Coast Guard is having to do, and what the Navy is also having to do, is repair and extend the life of the ships they have.
Which Padulo emphasizes is expected to lead to busy times ahead for their shipyard in Thunder Bay. Carl Langdon, TBT News.
A Thunder Bay man has built his own sailboat from scratch in his garage during the COVID-19 pandemic. Dan Turk intends to set sail across the Atlantic this month, starting in Halifax and traveling all the way to Portugal. Joe Sadowski has the story.
So throughout my life, I've always built a lot of things, and I've always wanted to build a boat.
A stay-at-home COVID project turned to life. Dave Turk, a former machinist and the founder of Little B Sailing Adventures, took it upon himself to start building his own sailboat during the pandemic. Every cut, detail, and part of this boat is all made by hand, and now this hobby has turned into a once-in-a-lifetime adventure to sail across the Atlantic.
The project started in July of 2020, and it took me about 13 or 14 months to complete. And I'm not sure if it's really all that complete because I'm still working on it today, and this is 3 years later.
Turk had found the plans for this ocean-designed boat on Facebook and is one of 80 people in the world to build it and one of the first to take it out on the water, which Turk says was a nervous experience to say the least.
And they launched the boat, and it was a little nerve-wracking when it first went in the water, I'll be honest. There's always a procedure that we follow, but yeah, after it went away from the dock, it was a little nerve-wracking for sure. But it was exciting because it was now it floats, it works, right? It sits in the water the way it's supposed to sit.
It's all starting to come together.
It's all coming together.
Exactly.
With over 25 years of sailing experience, Turk says that he's prepared for the trip and claims that this design is proven to handle the journey and that there are similar hazards on Lake Superior to help prepare him for what's to come.
Well, there's hazards in anything we do. There's hazards out here on Lake Superior, right? So it's the same situation in terms of staying on the boat, making sure you have the boat set up properly, all the proper safety equipment, life rafts. In terms of supplies, water, we have to bring our own water. There's no water maker on board.
Right.
And so approximately 120 liters of water.
Wow.
And generally for this, for the sailing that I'm going to be doing, it's going to be jet boil with freeze-dried food.
Right.
And also some other dried food and whatever else I can bring.
Turk will set sail next week in Halifax, where he will set course for Portugal, a journey that's expected to take around 4 to 5 weeks. Joe Sadowski, TBT News.
And finally, mermen have been surfacing on lakes, rivers, and Facebook feeds in First Nations throughout the region in a social media trend that has been spreading across the country. Participants say it's just good fun. From Northwest Angle to Nibinamik and many First Nations in between, men have been posing in merman costumes and sharing the photos to social media, all with the goal of getting a laugh. Bob Baxter is one of those mermen. He was visiting home in Martin Falls First Nation when relatives encouraged him to give it a shot. He borrowed a bra and shower curtain from his sister and headed up the Albany River for a photo shoot. Baxter says humor is an important part of the culture.
I like laughing, like we take life too seriously sometimes, You have to have laughter, at anything. As long as you don't as long as the laughter is not bringing somebody down, but to bring somebody up. You know, I think that's the real medicine, is bring people up. So they, you know, if somebody gets a smile of the photos that I made there, that's great. You know, I like that.
Baxter says he's honored to be the Merman for Martin Falls and hopes more men will get in on the fun. Some First Nations organizations in the region have also jumped on the bandwagon, holding contests and offering prizes for the best merman photos.